it's Betsy, and today I have a fun video. I'm going to be doing a Duping the Vibes, or what I'm using instead of the new Rose Quartz palette by Huda Beauty. Now, typically this is a palette I would have purchased, but I'm on a low buy. I got rid of so much of my collection, and a lot of it was Huda Beauty. I got rid of the Rose Gold Remastered, the New Nudes, and the Desert Dusk. I did keep the Naughty and the Mercury in Retrograde, and I was like, we'll see if we can use these two to dupe the vibes. Now, these aren't going to be identical dupes, but this is what Mercury in Retrograde looks like. And this is what Naughty looks like. I am going to put on one of the sides of the screen the post from Huda, the pictures from Huda's website that shows the swatches compared to my swatches. Now, something I tend to forget is, you know, $67 is a lot for an eyeshadow palette. It really is. And if you're using it once, it's kind of like throwing it away. So I am trying to be more selective when I'm picking up eyeshadows because I don't want to dupe myself. Now, one of the things I did notice is, like, you could easily use the Natasha Denona Love palette for a lot of these shades. You could use the Urban Decay Naked palette number 3. You know, things that have like those cool tone nudie pink shades, which is something Huda Beauty actually does a lot. And when you actually start to look at it, you're like, oh, that's not that different. So first up is the shade in the Rose Quartz palette is called Quartz, and it is a metallic peach. So I used the shade Frazzled right here from the Mercury in Retrograde. Then the next shade is Aura, and I use the shade Naughty from the Naughty palette. This is a warm, deep brown. Then next up, we have the shade Gratitude, which I used the shade Off Balance from Mercury in Retrograde, and that is a medium mauve matte. Next up is probably one of my favorite shades in the Rose Quartz palette, which is Cosmic Love, which is a purple blue duochrome. And what I used instead is I mixed the shades Passion and Ultraviolet. So Passion is from Naughty and Ultraviolet is from Mercury in Retrograde. Next up is the metallic baby pink, which is called hold on, I'm missing a next up, sorry, is the shade Empowered. And instead of that, I'm using from the Naughty palette Please Me, and from Mercury in Retrograde I used the shade, hold on, Vortex. So I just mixed a matte and a metallic, and that's one of the things we forget we can do. We can mix eyeshadows to get new colors. Then next up is the metallic baby pink. It is Joy in the Rose Quartz, and it is the shade Galaxy from Rose Gold, not Rose Gold, Mercury in Retrograde. Then we have the matte gray purple called Precious from Rose Quartz. I mixed Vortex and Libra from Mercury in Retrograde. Then we have a metallic mauve called Energized from Rose Quartz. I used the shade Please Me from Naughty. Next up is a metallic rose, which is called Love Stone. I used the shade Cosmic from Mercury in Retrograde. Then we've got a matte cool tone pink, which is called Cherished in the Rose Quartz palette. I used the shade Filthy from the Naughty palette. Then we have the metallic grayish purple, which is Blissful. I used Libra and Cosmic from Mercury in Retrograde to create more of that look. I'm trying to get it to where it focuses on these swatches. This is a little bit more difficult to get this side of my arm. There we go. Then we have the matte dark purple, or hold on, the matte cool tone pink, which is happiness in the rose quartz palette. And then we have, I used the shade Off Balance and Hot Mess right here to recreate. Then we have a matte dark purple, which is Mantra, and I use the shade Vortex from Mercury in Retrograde. Then there is a matte medium cool pink, which is Serenity in the rose quartz, and I used Off Balance from Mercury in Retrograde. Then we have a metallic plum called Abundance, and I used a mixture of Provocative from Naughty, and Mercury in Retrograde I used Vortex. Then we have a metallic lavender, which is called Moon Magic. I used a mixture of Ultraviolet and Nebula from Mercury in Retrograde. Then we have a matte cool gray toned purple. It's kind of like a lavender shade called Radiate. And I used a mixture of Vortex and Libra. And then last but not least was a pearly pink shade called Self Love. And I mixed together Supermoon and Galaxy, both from Mercury in Retrograde. Now, as you can see, most of the colors that I duped, I got from Mercury in Retrograde, which is great because it does make it a whole lot easier. But I do want to create an eye look with this to kind of show you can recreate it. Now, I do have, let me pull it back up. I pulled up one of the eye looks from Huda's website so I could kind of recreate it to see if I could do the same kind of look with my dupes. Because again, those are the things that have drawn me in, is certain colors. And a lot of it is actually more of the purple tones. But to me, the newer one does lack a little bit of depth. So I've got my inspiration pulled up. So one of the things when I'm looking at the inspiration, it looks like it starts off, because it doesn't tell me, but it looks like this shade down here, which is supposed to be Radiate, is a dupe for it. So that's what I'm going to use in my crease, which Radiate is Vortex and Libra. So I'm just dipping in a little bit into Libra and then a little bit into Vortex, and we're going to start off with that. And as you can see, it really does change the look of an eyeshadow when you kind of mix your colors. I did prime my eyes today with the MAC paint pot in Soft Ochre. They just upped my medicine, so if I'm stumbling over my words more, that's part of it. But yeah, blend that out. And we're just creating that soft kind of grayish purple. And I'm not doing like a super complex look. It's just something kind of simple. But as I said, I think people tend to forget that you can easily mix your eyeshadows to recreate colors. It's like you think you need to have that exact shade, but you really don't. And even if it isn't exact, you can still recreate a look, because when you're talking about a tiny little area like this, part of it is you can't tell all of the color gradients, is the best way to put it. At least not in my opinion. Now again, everybody is on their own for what they choose compared to, you know. But for myself personally, this is kind of what works. And again, I think I could have gotten a lot closer for a lot of the dupes other than the purples if I kept the new nudes. And that's another thing. If most of the colors are stuff that you already have, you can buy a single eyeshadow to get the color that you want if you don't have anything like that in your collection. But I am trying to use my collection more, so this is definitely helpful. So as you can see, that is more of like that matte cool toned lavender. And for the most part, that's kind of what it is on the eyes. There's not a whole lot of other matte shades in this look. So I am going to take an eyeliner brush, and the brush that I just used was the BK Beauty 201, which is definitely one of my favorites. So I am going to create almost a wing with the shade Vortex, because it has this matte deep purple wing that blends out for the top and the bottom. Now, I am not anything spectacular with wings, so just to give you the heads up, there we go. Now, I do think I do need to make it a little bit darker, and it actually looks like, the more I look at it, that there is a black eyeliner, liquid eyeliner as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of smoke this out in the wing shape, and then I'm going to try, when I'm off camera, to add a black wing. Now, I make no guarantees because I am not good at doing wings. So, I like this so far. I'm gonna take my glitter glue. There we go. And I have just a simple paddle brush. This is the one from Cleona. And that was the angled brush I was using too, is from Cleona. And we're going to apply that all over the lid, because what is special about this is how sparkly it is. So I think what I'm going to use is, instead of Moon Magic, I'm going to use the Ultraviolet and Nebula shade all over the lid. So what I'm doing is I'm picking up a little bit of Ultraviolet and then tapping just a little bit of Nebula over the top. Oh yeah. And we're just going to pat that all over, because when you actually look at the inspiration, look, I will try to remember to link it. If I don't, it is on the Huda Beauty website. It is underneath the, when you go to the Rose Quartz palette and look at it, it is one of the 3 pictures that's underneath. But you see what I'm saying? And again, this is one of the shades that drew me in. It was an ultra sparkly purple color. So that's part of it. And on this picture, it is blown out quite a bit, so it goes more into the crease area, which definitely makes me happy. But you see how sparkly this is? It's so stinking pretty. Now, I feel like mine is going a little bit more purple lavender, which again, I think is fine. Duping the vibes does not mean identical. I really like how that looks. I do. I love how that looks. And you see I'm kind of bringing it up into the crease a little bit, because I just think that that's more what it's supposed to do. Now I'm just taking that first brush, the BK Beauty 201, and going over the edge and really blowing out those sparkles just a little bit more. See what I'm saying? I'm going to take that brush and just tap into my sparkles and bring it up. Oh yeah. This would be perfect, like, festival makeup. Like if you were going to a concert, this would be perfect festival makeup, at least in my opinion. And the glitter glue I used was the NYX glitter glue. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do to kind of give myself a little bit more depth. Instead of just trying to wing it out, because I am so not good at that, I'm taking the shade Vortex on, this is a Sigma E27, and I'm just kind of blending that into that outer V, but not bringing it up, just keeping it more in that wing shape. But it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, and if you can't create a wing or to do an identical look, you don't really have to. You can just dupe the vibes. And I think that's kind of what I'm going to do, is leave it without the big harsh eyeliner line, only because I don't have a lot of area to work with on my eyelids. So eyeliner taking up a good portion of my lid just doesn't seem smart. Okay? I like that. So I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my face, come back, do the lower lash line, and you can tell me what your thoughts are on this. Okie dokie. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used my Makeup by Mario, the black eyeliner, because this look, I'm going to post a picture up here, has a lot of black eyeliner, and I used the Deep Void lip liner from Pat McGrath Labs, the Natasha Denona, what is the name of this, on Andrea lipstick, and then I put a little bit of the Celine, or no, this is the Aura lip gloss from Lunar Beauty. Bronzer, I used the Gucci bronzer in number 2, one of my favorites. I used the Lunar blush palette, Lunar Beauty blush palette, and I used the shade Spacey on my cheeks. And then I used the new Diamond Balm Triple Threat highlighter from Fenty Beauty, and I used this pinky shade as my highlight. I am loving it. So I'm going to take the shade Vortex, which is that deep purple, and I'm going to apply that using that same angled brush that I used from the top, all under my lower lash line, to kind of smoke it out where I put the black eyeliner, because I put it in my waterline and then kind of a little bit below, because as I said, this look that I found is very, very deep, but that is like kind of my makeup aesthetic, or at least that's kind of how I feel my makeup aesthetic is. So I'm going to take and use the gray toned that I used on the top, which is the Vortex and Libra mixed together. I am loving how this came out. Now, if you decide you want to buy this palette, I definitely think it's a beautiful, beautiful palette. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I have no need for it. But I mean, this look I think is absolutely stunning. And I am using the brush that I used on top that has a little bit of sparkles in it. Now, most people are like, sparkles under the under eye? So that's it so far. Now I need to do something in the inner corner. So I think I'm going to do the shade that's supposed to be the self-love shade. I need to find a little pencil brush. So, which is a mixture for me of Supermoon and Galaxy. Because again, it is very blown out and very sparkly. And I just think that that's going to, oh yeah, definitely go well. Okay, and hopefully y'all don't hear anything. It kind of depends, because as I said, we've got puppies right now and they're doing great. Not that I really want to keep puppies. I'm going back in with the mixture of Galaxy and Supermoon on a fluffier brush, just to kind of blow that out a little bit more, because that is what it looks like in the inspiration picture. But yeah, this is the finished look. What do you think? I think it's absolutely stunning. So Tell me what you think below. As I said, I think the palette is absolutely stunning. I'm glad I duped the vibes of it, but you know, each person is different on what they think they need. And if you don't have either one of these palettes or the colors to recreate this, you may want to buy it. And I want to make sure people know that I ain't judging anybody for what they purchase. But yeah, I like it. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when I post new videos, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with some bonus content thrown without. Now, I don't post, like, I've been dealing with a lot of health issues, so I haven't been like sticking to my schedule as much as I would like to, but it is hopefully getting better. I don't know. I had a rough weekend and I'm feeling a little bit better at this moment, but that changes on the regular. But I guess that's it. So we'll see y'all later.